racing down the short chute now. Nicoya, not a lot of room! Coburn! The bulldozer! Bump draft Shawnee on the outside. Two drivers going for the real estate. 97 almost up on his wheel. And bump draft Shawnee. Fourth and fifth position as they go in. Peak crash. Unbelievable. We got Barrow from the inside. Ricky Harden heading in slow. On the Walmart, he saves it. Battling off bonus, gets away. Diamond is in. Again, he get him. By George. Konnichiwa, and welcome to Hot Shoe TV's presentation, the Pretend Racing Online Super Showdown Series, live at the Twin Ring Motegi Super Speedway, located in scenic Japan. Tonight we will be racing 100 laps at the Twin Ring Motegi Super Speedway in asphalt super late models. It's a very big track for these cars and is set to be a very exciting evening for our drivers as well as you at home. Before we begin, let's give our warmest welcome to the citizens of Japan and rise for the playing of their national anthem. Thank you, race fans. And it looks like our qualifying is beginning to roll on the speedway while our drivers are getting set for their qualifying runs. Let's take a look at our track rundown. Twin Ring Motegi Super Speedway is part of a larger motorsports complex owned by the Honda Motorsport Corporation. And it is comprised of this super speedway, a 1.52 mile oval, set up sort of like Darlington for you American race fans, of very wide and sweeping turns 1 and 2, and a very, very tight and narrow turns 3 and 4, two very distinct ends of the racetrack. And it's going to be set to really challenge our racers this evening. Our temperature is about 73 degrees currently, and overcast conditions is an interesting feature of tonight's race. It's going to create a track that is very tacky, has a lot of grip, and will prevent the drivers from sliding around too much, although very large racetrack, as we said, can be quite challenging. If we take a look at the track overall, Twin Ring Motegi is the home to Danica Patrick's only IndyCar win. If you remember that, kind of a pit strategy type of race that allowed Danica Patrick to get the victory that evening, but widely known as her maiden and only victory in the IndyCar series. Motegi on its road course, you can kind of capture that in the background of our images here high above. Twin Ring Motegi is a road course that hosts the MotoGP every year for the Japanese Motorcycle Grand Prix. postponed for 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and is back again in 2022 and has been run ever since 2004. NASCAR has also hosted the race here in 1998, a famous exhibition race here at the Twin Ring Motegi Super Speedway. Very exciting race. I believe it's posted on the NASCAR YouTube channel. If you go ahead and you can check that out and see what it looked like back in the day for the NASCAR Cup Series drivers. The oval unfortunately was damaged in the 2011 earthquake, along with the other parts of the Twin Ring Motegi racetrack. And that led to, in 2011, IndyCar's final appearance at Twin Ring Motegi, where they actually ran on the road course because the oval was so damaged. So very exciting, very interesting racetrack here tonight, sure to challenge our drivers. Something to look forward to as we are getting ready to go. Looks like our drivers are just finishing up qualifying. We have our Pretend Racing Online fantasy battle between the Circle Jerks podcast boys, Norm Pelletier and Daniel Walker. They should be, we'll keep an eye on that battle throughout the race. Another interesting thing to keep an eye out for is Anthony Barrow with some tough luck the past several weeks. Can he get it back together? We saw the races at Milwaukee. He had a late race, self-inflicted incident, and as well as at Lanier. Got caught off on pit strategy and some incidents with other drivers and ended up towards the back of the pack in the final rundown. He's currently sitting second in the points standings, about 43 points behind Thomas George, who has been one of the high performers of this season. Only one win, though, for Thomas George. So we'll keep an eye out for him, see what he can do tonight. Can he get a second victory? Our man in the booth last week, Nick Cohan, is in this race this evening, and it looks like if I check out our qualifying results, as our first heat begins to roll out onto the track, and Nick Cohan is actually our fast timer over his teammate, Anthony Barrow, Thomas George in third, John Borst in fourth, Norm Pelletier, followed by Daniel Walker, Casey Miller, Paul Nelson, Josh Cox, Ryan Steinhoff, rounding out our top 10. And at this time, it appears that we have our first heat race beginning to make their way onto the Speedway. There we see our drivers are getting lined up to ready to go. We'll have 3 heat races this evening, 6 drivers per heat race. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. Starting on the pole, remember, inverts here with Pretend Racing Online. So our fast timer, Nick Cohan, will actually be starting from 4th position tonight in this heat race. Ryan Steinhoff out of the West Coast is starting on the pole in that number 59 car. Next to him, Pennsylvania's own Casey Miller in the 05, the Miller & Hutch Custom Cabinetry Buick Roadmaster. John Borst starting from 3rd position, and Nick Cohan in the Nick Sucks Vacuum Service Hot Shoe TV CJ Automotive number 21 car. Jeff Coburn, the Dizzy Bulldozer, starts from 5th, and Jared Michaud, otherwise known as Johnny Benson Jr., starting in the 6th and final position. Drivers now are rolling for the first time, and first and only time under caution. We see the lights are out on the pace car. Ryan Steinhoff leading us down to take the green. Ryan has been here a couple times with Pretend Racing Online, always runs strong. Let's see what he can do tonight. Casey Miller still trying to get that elusive Asphalt Series victory. As we see the pace car beginning to pull off the track. Green flag is in the air from the starter stand. And green flag is out in that first heat race. Ryan Steinhoff takes off. A little squirrely to get going. Here comes our field now, sweeping through turns 1 and 2. Jeremy Shaw pulling up the back as we take a look up front. Casey Miller gets a big run on the outside. Ryan Steinhoff on the inside, and Nick Cohan already gained 1 position on John Borst, trying to make a move. Right now, I think he just is best just to ride short heat races tonight, just 5 laps long. due to the length of this track as Casey Miller slips up the track. We see Ryan Steinhoff start to take the lead as now Nick Cohan's driving underneath Casey Miller as Casey Miller losing a lot of spots here. With just 4 laps to go, Nick shuts the door as they drive off into turns 1 and 2. There's Nick Cohan up to second place from his 4th place starting position in that number 21 car. Kind of a throwback paint scheme, if you will, on that number 21. I know Nick earlier today was doing a little bit of research about the that famous 1998 race. And this car is actually done, logoed up, painted up very similarly to the Drift King of Japan, Haichi Tsuchiai. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but the Drift King is represented out here tonight as Nick battles it on the outside. 3 laps to go now as they enter the backstretch of that long sweeping turns 1 and 2. Ryan Steinhoff down on the inside, Nick Cohan on the outside. Let's see what they can do through turns 3. Very tight and tricky, tight quarters here. You see the drivers really check up. You can visually see the slower speeds in turn 1 and 2 as John Boris gets a run on the inside. John Boris trying to make it 3 wide. Will he go for it as they race off into turn 1? Steinhoff goes low with the block. John Boris drives in deeper and Boris makes contact with the 59. Oh my goodness gracious. John Boris, Mr. Generosity himself. Full send tonight here at Twin Ring Motegi Super Speedway. He gave that position to Jeff Coburn, but here comes John Boris back, rolling on the inside. You see he's got that car decorated up for all of our Japanese race fans this evening. That number 86 Dizzy Motorsports Toyota Camry. Very, very fast. I'm sure he did not intend to do that. Unfortunately, took out Ryan Steinhoff in the matter. White flag is out now for Nick Cohan and that Nick Sucks throwback paint scheme. Does Jeff Coburn have anything for John Boris? I don't think so. That 86 is rolling very, very fast. What an absolute stud of a machine in that 86 car. As we have our white flag, look a little bit further up front though, we have Nick Cohan leading the field through turns 3 and 4. And out in the front stretch, John Boris closes, but nothing is there. Nick Cohan wins the heat race, followed by John Boris, Jeff Coburn, Casey Miller. Jared Michaud crosses in 5th. And unfortunately for Ryan Steinhoff, we saw that contact with John Boris. And Steinhoff crosses the line in the final position. Now let's see if we can go back. As we are getting our field lined up now, we will not have time to go back, unfortunately. Our field is getting lined up for our next heat race. This will be heat race number 2.
Nick, no one can hear your voice. You got it.
We got a good battle here for our second position as Hondo Longmire is leading the field. Thomas George in second, Josh Cox in third, Daniel Walker in fourth. Thomas George, one to keep an eye on here, very quick timer. Third fastest qualifier of the race. He gets to the outside of Hondo Longmire through turns 1 and 2. Wide sweeping corners here in turns 1 and 2. Oh, it looks like we have an accident. That's Daniel Walker's crashing down the backstretch. Not what Daniel Walker wanted to have happen here. Very unfortunate. Let's see if we can take a look and see exactly what happened to Daniel Walker. We'll jump on board. Just gets too high, slaps the wall. Tries to save it, and it does not happen. As we see Greg Gable and Alex Reno sneak by there on the inside. That's going to help out those guys. And unfortunately, a little bit of technical difficulties here tonight on Hot Shoot TV. See if we can get our things fixed up here. We got Thomas George. Looks like Thomas George is taking the victory. Now our Consolation Race is making its way out to the track. Apologies for the technical difficulties there that we are experiencing here on Hot Shoot TV tonight. Very unfortunate that that's happening, but it's going to be okay. We're getting things straightened out here. Apologies for the audio being out as our Consolation Race is rolling out onto the track. Let's take a look here. Take a look at our grid very quickly here. Alex Reno is on the pole, Don Runkle in second, Jeremy Shaw in third, Greg Gable in fourth, Gael Brooks in fifth, Casey Miller in sixth, Ryan Steinhoff seventh, Chris Leone in eighth, and ninth is Daniel Walker. We saw that big accident from Daniel Walker out there. One to watch here might be Don Runkle Jr., who is very, very quick in his heat race. Just slightly slid up the track a little bit, caused some issues for Don Runkle Jr. Pace car pulls off the track, and here comes our field to get our green flag in this consolation race. Alex Reno, Don Runkle Jr. lead under the green. 8-lap consolation race. We see some passing already from the 17. Kyle Brooks just in front of him. Greg Gable and Casey Miller are side by side, battling for the 3rd position. Greg Gable, not a lot of track time this evening for Greg Gable, but he's running hard at Gable's tables, number 96. Battle for the lead now. Don Runkle Jr. and Alex Reno side by side down the front stretch after completion of the first lap. Oh, Alex Reno slides up the track. Don Runkle almost gets in the back of him. As Alex Reno continues to hold him up a little bit further back, here comes Casey Miller with a big run out of turn 2. Can he get to the inside of Don Runkle? Kind of pulls low, blocks him a little bit, but Casey Miller's still going to take it. No! That's going to... Oh, and look at Don Runkle. You can see the correction that left front wheel, turning it in very hard. Slides up the track. And here comes Ryan Steinhoff. We saw he had some bad luck in this heat race. Was moved by the 86 of John Borst. That's Ryan Steinhoff on the inside, as Daniel Walker makes a pass on Greg Gable also. Greg Gable dropping a little bit in this race, but Daniel Walker trying to make up as many spots as possible. Now for this consolation race, everybody will make the feature, but every position you gain is an extra position in your feature, in the feature event. You'll start closer to the front of the pack, and that's really going to be your goal here.
5 laps to go, 3 down, 5 to go. Casey Miller running in second place behind Alex Reno. Good run so far for the number 22 Cessna Boeing Aviator Alex number 22 car. Highly recommend, if you're into planes, into flight simulators, check out Aviator Alex on Twitch. A very awesome stream to follow along with in that number 22 Ford Mustang. When he's not on the track, he's up in the air in that number 22 of Alex Reno. Tight battle here, our top 5 all under a blanket. Reno streaking ahead just a little bit, ran the fastest time that last time by. Casey Miller in this Buick Roadmaster 05 is in second. He's trying. Here we see he gets a big run. Alex Reno gets a little squirrely off the corner. Will Casey drop it? No, he doesn't, but Steinhoff right on his tail. So was Don Runkle Jr. Very tight battles here at Twin Ring Motegi with Daniel Walker just behind these 4. Three laps to go. 3 laps to go for Alex Reno. Casey Miller is in second. Ryan Steinhoff trying to make something happen up on the high side, but that opens up the door for the 00. The Toyota Supra of Don Runkle Jr. Let's see what Donnie Runkle can do. Drives it in hard. That's something Don Runkle has done a couple times this race. And each time he slips up the track. I don't know if that's the right strategy for entering turns 3 and 4. You can see he lost a lot of time, especially coming off the corner. Opened up the door for Dan Walker. Now Steinhoff drives it in deep, trying to get on the other side of Casey Miller. He can't do it. A couple guys hit the apron there, including Don Runkle Jr. As Daniel Walker trying to get that top side rolling. Can he get anything done? Can he gain another position or 2 positions and start even farther up for the 100-lap feature event? Alex Reno leads by about 0.3 of a second over Casey Miller as we come to get the white flag. White flag is in the air. Casey Miller drops it low. Steinhoff gets in the back of him. We saw Steinhoff gets in the back of Casey Miller, all squirrely, but Casey's able to save it as Daniel Walker tries to roll that top side still. Can he get that position on Ryan Steinhoff? Steinhoff gets a big run off of turns 1 and 2. Down into 3 and 4 now they'll go. Who will drive it in deeper? Daniel Walker sends it on the top. Steinhoff rolls up there, slides up the track. Everybody gets balled off behind Alex Reno. Reno is going to take the victory here as we see Don Runkle crashes off of the bumper at Kyle Brooks, 3 wide. Oh my goodness gracious, to end this heat race. There are cars wrecking everywhere. Thank goodness this is a video game. Wow, wow, and wow. What a spectacular drive by Daniel Walker in that heat. I mean, just impressive that he was able to pull that off. Or I apologize, in the consolation race, actually, Daniel Walker. Very impressive runs out there for some of these guys. We're going to have a slight warm-up session here. Looks like our fog has started to roll in as well. Sun is coming up here. Early morning race here at Twin Ring Motegi, the House of the Rising Sun 100. Oh, sun is rising. Let's see here as our racers make their way out to the track for a little warm-up session. See if we can have a chat with some of these guys. Let's first see if we can talk to our pollster there tonight, Nick Cohan. Nick, this is Nick in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Well, Nick, we were having some microphone difficulties up here and got those sorted out, but no difficulties for you tonight so far. Fast timer, won your heat race. How's it feel out there?
Oh man, this track is awesome. Plenty wide. It's a little tight, but you know this number 21 Nick Sucks Toyota Camry is in good shape here. We got Kaiichi Tsuzachi paint scheme from Suzuka back in the 90s. The highest finishing NASCAR, Japanese-born NASCAR driver. Glad to have that paint scheme on here. Last minute addition to the team here. Guys got it wrapped up. We're ready to go. We feel good. We're starting outside front row next to Thomas George. I think we're gonna be in good shape here.
Yeah, that's great to hear. We'll be watching you, Nick. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Daniel Walker, this is Nick in the booth. Do you have a copy?
What's going on, Nick?
Dan, well, we were watching you. We caught an onboard replay of your little incident there off of 2 in the heat race. But you had a great recovery in the Consi, drove it from last to second. How do you feel out there tonight?
Pretty good. The walls on exit definitely sneak up on you. I thought I was clear on that one, but wasn't. But was able to drive it from the back in the LCQ and have a halfway decent start spot for the feature. So.
Yeah, we're watching from our blimp cam right now. It looks like some fog has rolled in. How does that play a role for you guys out there on the track?
We're going to see. We had a contract with you guys so you could be airing this at a normal time back home. So we're up early this morning. I'm sure the fog will burn off.
All right, good luck tonight, Dan.
Thanks, Nick.
And finally, let's see if we get a word with Greg Gable in the 96 car. Greg Gable, this is Nick in the booth. Do you have a copy?
I got you.
Greg, we were watching you in that Consi. It looked like you got a pretty strong car, that Gable's Tables number 96. Tell us how it feels out there.
Yeah, you know, the 96 team, we, arrived late to practice, traveling to Japan can be rough at times. But anyway, we learned stuff from other teams. We actually passed on qualifying to try to make repairs to our car. Picked up some speed between our heat race and the Consi race, and we're ready to give a good show in the feature.
Excellent. Well, we're glad to hear it. We'll be keeping an eye on that 96 Gable's Tables machine. What is the deal? Top 10 free table?
Just because we traveled all the way to Japan, we're going to do top 12 free tables.
All right, you heard it here first, folks. Top 12 get a free table at GablesTables.com. Thanks for talking to us, Greg, and good luck tonight.
Thank you. Take care.
Let's see if we can take a look down at our Speedway. From our front stretch cam, you see our drivers out there. That fog rolled in here as our quick transition from the Consi to our short warm-up session here. One thing to keep an eye on as we get ready to go. Thomas George in the number 8 car is our current points leader with 265 points. Our second place points man is the number 27, Anthony Barrow, 222 points. Daniel Walker, we just spoke to him, third place currently in points, only 3 points ahead of fourth place Hanno Longmire, and only 5 points ahead of the number 86 of John Borst. Top 5 cars, remember, top 5 cars make our playoffs. We have 4 races, including tonight, left. So only 3 after today. And Josh Cox, 6th place point man with 199 points. Just 13 points out of third place. So tight battle here for the final playoff position as our warm-up session is beginning to come to an end. Our field getting ready. 100 laps tonight. 100 laps at Twin Ring Motegi Speedway, the House of the Rising Sun 100, presented by Dizzy Beer, a division of Dizzy Verse Corporation. We see temperature 79 degrees Fahrenheit temperature. Temperature is rising. Sun is coming up. The fog is out. Ladies and gentlemen, fans of all ages, let's take a look at our starting lineup. And again, top couple positions here are inverted. So we'll go off what the schedule says here to begin. Starting on the pole. We'll have the number 21 to Nick Cohan. In that throwback machine, you just heard him talk about it. Anthony DeBarro will be starting up there in the top 6 as well. Thomas George, John Borst, Norm Pelletier, and Honda Longmire. Jeff Coburn and Paul Nelson, Josh Cox, Alex Reno, Daniel Walker, and Casey Miller. Jeff Coburn. We just mentioned some of these guys, so let's see if we can skip ahead a little bit more. There we go. We have Josh Cox and Alex Reno rounding out our top 10. Daniel Walker starting from 11th, Casey Miller in 12th, Ryan Steinhoff 13th, Greg Gable in 14th, Chris Leone 15th, Jared Michaud 16th, Kyle Brooks, and Don Runkle Jr. starting from our final position as our drivers are beginning to get lined up here. We see that fog, heavy fog, has rolled in to Twin Ring Motegi Speedway, the Super Speedway. Again, 100 laps. 100 laps tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thomas George will be starting from first position. Nick Cohan starting from second. Norm Pelletier, Honda Longmire, Jeff Coburn, Anthony DeBarro is our starting lineup, our top 6. Pace car getting ready to pull off the speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, fans of all ages, it's showtime on Hot Shoe TV. Thomas George gets the early lead over Norm Pelletier, Nick Cohan. That outside not working out right now for the Nick Sucks number 21 as Norm Pelletier in the Circle Jerks Podcast Summit Racing Equipment Revival Motoring 56 rolls the inside. He drives it in hard on this first lap in the turns 3 and 4. Very tight, tricky turns 3 and 4 alongside Nick Cohan. Thomas George with the early lead as we see Honda Longmire squirrely in the back. Honda gathers it up. Lots of cars, unfortunately, though, have rolled past Honda Longmire. He started up there, top 5 starting position. He's back to 10th. Back up front now, we have a battle here. We see that 27 OZ, Anthony DeBarro. The Dizzy Beer, DizzyMerch.com. DeBarro Sliders, Dizzy Airways 27 on the inside of Nick Cohan. His teammate, he makes that pass. Boy, Nick Cohan might let him have that one early on. You do not want to burn up your tires. As Anthony DeBarro is on a mission tonight, we said at the top of the show, Anthony DeBarro, 2 bad luck weeks. But Anthony DeBarro rolling it down on the inside, takes second position from Norm Pelletier in the Circle Jerks Podcast Machine All those circle jerks, boys. Not going to be happy about that one, but we're still only on lap 3 of 100 here as Thomas George currently leads the way out front. He slips up, and here comes Anthony the Barrow in that 27. What a drive so far from 6th starting position. Anthony the Barrow is up to 2nd, knocking on the door for 1st. He'll have the inside here as they send it off in the turns 1 and 2. Does it stick? Yes, it does. Right on that white line. Difficult line to run. You do not want to hit the apron in these cars. Very high speed. As a little bit further back, Anthony the Barrow gets the lead. Norm Pelletier is rolling it on the inside of Thomas George. It seems like you slip up the track a little bit and the car really wants to take off on you. Not a lot of grip in that second lane. Remember, this racetrack, Twin Ring Motegi Super Speedway, has not been run on in a proper motorsports event since 2010. So 12 years this racetrack has sat still, suffered damage from earthquakes, and Pretend Racing Online Super Showdown Series has made it happen here. Got these boys out on the track. Norm Pelletier in that number 56. Let's see what he could do. Very strong run. A little bit further back. One driver we're keeping our eye on tonight, the 74 of Daniel Walker. Started from 12th position, already up to 5th. Some bad luck for the guys in front of him. We saw that incident happen with Hondo Lawnmeyer, and Daniel Walker has a hot rod tonight in that Circle Jerks podcast, Revival Motoring Chevy Camaro. He's starting to close the door on the 21 of Nick Cohan. One thing we will want to keep our eyes on here, this is the type of track where these guys, very, very talented group of racers, some of the best in iRacing here, are able to just keep these cars underneath them. So very few cautions, and we look now. We have a bit of a field spread taking place. Everybody's a few tenths off each other, and that's going to make it difficult for some of these guys to catch caution. Closest battle on the track right now. Looks like this one, John Borst, Josh Cox, and just in front of them, Gael Brooks and Don Runkle Jr. side by side. Looks like John Borst has gotten that pass done on Josh Cox, but Gael Brooks trying to make it happen here on Don Runkle. Runkle, we saw multiple times tonight, runs that high line, and it just, the car takes off and slips up the track. Just there, we see it right there. Needs to back it down a little bit. Focus on the line that you were running, as now John Borst trying to make that pass on Hondo Lawnmeyer. This is for 12th and 13th position. Further back in the pack, as we're keeping an eye on the cars up front, not much has changed up front. Everybody's maintaining the status quo. As John Borst, that 86, we saw the 86 car was very, very quick in his heat races. Let's see if he can make up some time here. About 3-4 seconds off the lead right now. John Borst, he might need to utilize some pit strategy. It seems as though as we got another pass just in front of him, Gael Brooks slips by Hondo Lawnmeyer. That might open up the door for John Borst in the 86. Nothing happening yet, but Casey Miller in the 05 getting on the inside of the 56 of Ryan Steinhoff. I'm wondering if these guys are having difficulty seeing coming out of turn 2. We could see on their cameras very, very dense fog over there in turn 2 and 3 and all down the backstretch. Close quarters action in this super late model race. 10 laps in, we're 1/10 of the way through the night's feature event. Just ahead of him, Jeff Coburn, Paul Nelson, side by side through turns 2 onto the backstretch. The dizzy bulldozer himself, Jeff Coburn, gets on the inside. This is for 6th position, about 3 seconds off the lead. Our top 5 have created a bit of a breakaway from the rest of the field. Let's see if we can jump on board with Paul Nelson here. You can see he's trying to tuck it up behind that number 91 car. Can he do it? He's going to make a pass. He drives it to the inside of the 91 to Jeff Coburn. Will Paul Nelson's full send down to the inside. Slight contact. You saw that bump there. That gets Jeff Coburn all out of whack. And it's up the track. That opens the door for Paul Nelson. Coburn now coming back on the high side. Not going to like that one from Paul Nelson. A little door slamming. They almost touch again. And now we saw Paul Nelson. Big slip up there. Back up front. We got a battle for second position. We have Thomas George, Nick Cohan, and the Circle Jerks podcast boys. Daniel Walker, Norm Pelletier. As Anthony's going to help Anthony the Barrow open up his gap here. Ladies and gentlemen, there's about 4 seconds ahead of the field. We see Anthony the Barrow. As soon as these guys got side by side, he was maintaining about that half a second gap. Opened it up to a full second now over Thomas George, who takes second position. Nick Cohan just behind him in that number 21, that mint green in gold. Number 21. Anthony the Barrow comfortably leading right now. These four drivers, second, third, fourth, and fifth position, packed up very closely together. Farther back in the pack are drivers starting to get a little bit more spread out. One driver we see making a move. Let's see if we can back up, take a look. Big pass here from John Borst in the 86. Dives it to the inside of Jeff Coburn and clears him. John Borst started deep in this pack. And is now currently up to the 6th position. As we take a look back, Thomas George, Nick Cohan. Side by side as Daniel Walker makes a pass. Daniel Walker on the inside of Norm Pelletier. We'll go on board with Daniel Walker. Let's see if we can close up the gap here on Nick Cohan. Just made a pass on his teammate, Norm Pelletier. That's our Pretend Racing Online fantasy battle for this evening. Right now, Daniel Walker has the advantage in that. We see Anthony the Barrow up ahead, about a second gap here. Slightly increasing that. As we're on board with the 74 of Daniel Walker. Norm Pelletier may have used up his tires, but about 4 seconds ahead of John Borst in 6th. Here's one of the fan favorites, Nick Cohan, the Nick Sucks 21, Hot Shoe, TV, CJ Automotive, Toyota Camry, currently in their 3rd position. Thomas George just ahead of him. You saw some flames jump out of Thomas George's car. Hopefully that engine holds together. These drivers, Thomas George here, up to 2nd spot, starting to close in a little bit on the Anthony the Barrow. Anthony had about a 1.2 second lead. Now it's down to about 1.5. Is this a play by the 27? Just trying to save his stuff. Long race, a lot of racing to go. We may not want to burn out those tires too much as these other boys running hard. A little bit further back in the pack here. Let's take a look at Greg Gable in that 96 Gable's Tables machine. This is in 16th position. Greg trying to close the gap to Chris Leone. Just in front of him, we take a look at Chris in that number 40 car. Run the tiny truck. Sponsor number 40. Chris Leone, big fan of tiny trucks. Yes, Motorsports, check it out as we want to jump back up front now. We have a switch for 2nd place. Let's see if we can take a look on that pass. We see Nick Cohan gets to the inside of Thomas George. Thomas gives him the spot, gives him plenty of room to slip on by. Very courteous to Nick Cohan. They're about 1.2 seconds behind Anthony DeBarro. That seems like that's what Anthony DeBarro wants to maintain. About that 1 to 1.2 second lead. His teammate now, though, is in second spot, the 21 of Nick Cohan. And Nick Cohan, not a driver that is running all of the races this season. He's kind of picking and choosing what he would like to do. So it's nice to see him having a strong run. He won the last big track we were on at Milwaukee, the famous Milwaukee Mile. Actually beat out his teammate Anthony DeBarro and Thomas George there. So all these guys very good at these larger racetracks. They're often tricky for drivers to get a hold of. We see Daniel Walker starting to close in on these guys in front of him as Nick gets a little slippery. Here comes Thomas George back to the inside. Thomas George back to the inside of the 21 car, Nick Cohan. All this is doing, as we jump on board with him in the number 27, Anthony DeBarro opening up the gap here. About a second and a half ahead now of the drivers behind him. They just do not have anything for Anthony DeBarro tonight. Looks like we're having a good battle back here. Don Runkle Jr. in the 00 and the 91 of Jeff Coburn. This is for 9th and 10th position. Swapped positions a couple times. So Jeff Coburn drives it in deeply there, right underneath of Don Runkle. 25 laps, just about complete here with Pretend Racing Online. House of the Rising Sun 100. Now Paul Nelson is getting his hands dirty, gets underneath Don Runkle Jr. and Don with a crossover move. Big move there by Don Runkle Jr. on the inside of the 16 of Paul Nelson. They race down the backstretch now through the thick fog has hit here in Motegi, Japan. Don Runkle Jr. on the inside, currently in 11th position, trying to get 10th. As behind him we see the 6 car of Josh Cox. And we're going to leave this battle. Take a look back up front. Thomas George, caution is on the speedway. Caution is out. Caution is out. Let's see if we could back this up. Take a look at what happened. Looks like Jeff Coburn is involved. We just took our eyes off this battle. Coburn into the outside wall. Keeps it off of the other drivers. But you see he slides to a stop up there. On the high line. Let's see if we can go on board with Jeff Coburn. See what happened. Here he is slipping up high. Just gets too high coming out of turn 2. Slaps the wall. Does a good job not inflicting more damage to that car, but it slides to a stop. Not what we want to have happen there, that's for sure. As the field slows. And this is going to be interesting. We are 26 laps into the race, about a quarter of the distance in. What does this mean for pit strategy? Is now when you want to take is now when you want to take some tires. Let's keep an eye on our leaders here. What strategy is going to take place? Field coming in, we see Nick Gohan as that first stall. Here's our top 3, fastest 3 of the night. Let's see what happens. I see right side tires going on everybody's car. And will they get 4 tires? Yes, they will. Everybody gets 4, so going to be a good battle here off of the pit lane exit. Who's going to get it? We see some cars coming from the back. Thomas George gets the jump. Kyle Brooks, Anthony the Barrow, Nick Cohan, Daniel Walker, Norm Pelletier, John Borst, Ryan Steinhoff, Paul Nelson, Don Runkle Jr., Josh Cox, Hondo Longmire, Alex Reno, Greg Gable, and Jared Michaud is the order that they have come off pit lane. That is going to shake up the field. Anthony the Barrow, our leader before the pit stop, is back in 4. So if we're keeping this strategy right, Thomas George has the lead. 4 fresh tires on that machine. Same for the 21, same for the 27, same for the 74. But the 17 of Gael Brooks, 2 tires on that last pit stop. Let's see here if we can back this up. Have a little conversation with the 27, Anthony the Barrow. Anthony the Barrow, this is Nick in the booth. You have a copy.
Yeah, how you doing, buddy?
Anthony, we saw you had a pretty decent sized lead there. It looked like you were just trying to save your stuff a little bit. Now you got shuffled back to 4th here. How's it feel out there?
Oh, picker at a slow stop there. I hope you could see us with this fog out here. It's tough to see us as drivers, but I was trying to save my right front there as the leader. I was kind of running about like 75% pace, and then I noticed it was about to be a fuel mileage race, but obviously yellow changed all that. And like what, we're gonna hang out here. We got 70 laps to go. I mean, a lot can happen here. We'll see if we can get back up front.
Yeah, well, we'll be, at least trying to watch you here through that fog. Gets a little thick as you guys head down the backstretch.
Yeah, good luck.
Our field's getting reassembled 2 by 2 to get ready for our restart. Now, give a little rundown here. Thomas George in that number 8 car will be our control vehicle. Thomas George, the control vehicle, the Milwaukee Tools heavy powered equipment, number 8, is the control vehicle. Gael Brooks in the 17, we believe he is on a 2-tire stop. So a little bit of a track position game for Gael Brooks in number 17. Right behind him are Anthony the Barrow and Nick Cohan, our 2 fastest cars of the evening. We heard it from Anthony. We just talked to him, trying to save his stuff. So running 75%, maintaining a 1.5 second gap on the field. Let's see what he can do for these boys up front. A little bit further back here, 5th and 6th, we got our fantasy battle, Pretend Racing Online fantasy battle every week. You can vote at Pretend Racing on Twitter. The 74. Daniel Walker and the 56 and Norm Pelletier. Those guys do a podcast together. Now they're out here racing one another. Hopefully that doesn't bleed over to some confrontation in the podcast. As the field getting ready to come and take the green flag. Green flag is in the air for our starter. Field races off to turns 1 and 2. 30 laps in, 70 to go. Gael Brooks on the inside, Thomas George on the outside. Very, very tight battle here. As we see, Thomas George slips up the track. That opens the door for the Dizzy Boys at the 27, 21. Here comes Daniel Walker on the inside. Harder charging, Captain Daniel Walker moving up to the 4th position. Big slip up for some boys, and Don Runkle Jr. is in the wall. Caution is out, caution is out. Don Runkle Jr. goes around. Let's back it up, take a look at what happened. We're on board with Don. What happened there? It looks like Don downshifted or missed a shift. Let's see if we can back that up again. Listen close. Yes, he did. Oh my goodness gracious. One more time. You hear it. There. Downshifts it. And unfortunately, it looks like Paul Nelson didn't have anywhere to go. The car suddenly stops. If we take a look from a little bit of a different camera angle here, we'll be able to see this very well. You see he's right behind, tucked up there, just downshifts and almost comes to a complete stop in front of the 16 of Paul Nelson. Unfortunate for him, as now Don Runkle has damage, Paul Nelson has damage. Norm Pelletier is pulling into the pit lane, it looks like. Norm Pelletier in the Circle Jerks Podcast 56. A little bit of strategy here. I wonder if Norm Pelletier trying to get some fresh tires. Perhaps he only got 2 tires on that last pit stop as he's coming in here. Or is this a fuel strategy play too? Topping off with gas, it looks like. No tires have gone up. Perhaps we're a little bit short on fuel from that last pit stop. We still do have 68 laps to go as we see Norm Pelletier rolling out of the pits. Only car, it looks like, to have pitted. The driver to keep an eye on, the 96 Gable's Tables, DZ Cola, Nick and Nicky's Ice Cream, Chambrone's Chicken Dinner, number 96 of Greg Gable. Up to 11th. Remember, top 12 declared by Greg Gable tonight. Free tables at GablesTables.com. Well, let's see what Greg is going to be able to do. Up front, though, big gainer in this race, Gael Brooks, plus 16 positions, is now our current leader. 32 laps complete as we're under caution here at Twin Ring Motegi Speedway in scenic Motegi, Japan. Gael Brooks, a driver that has entered a few races here with Norm Pelletier. With Pretend Racing Online. Norm Pelletier, I was looking at our chat here. Some shout-outs to some of the Circle Jerks podcast listeners for tuning in tonight. Ed Cash, Cash Money, hoping Daniel Walker crashes. Well, currently our buddy Daniel Walker in 4th place. Has not hit anything yet, driving hard. And MG Carteropoli. Nice to see another Italian name out there, MG Carteropoli. Hopefully our Circle Jerk boys can bring it home with a strong finish. Maybe can get up there and battle for the win. We'll find out. Let's see if we could check in here with one of them. Norm Pelletier. Let's see if we can have a word with him. Norm, this is Nick in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Oh, I copy you, Nick, in the booth.
Yeah, Norm, we were just chatting here in the YouTube chat with Ed Cash and MG Carteropoli. They're tuning in to watch your race tonight. How's the car feel so far?
It was quick for a while. I'm definitely killing the tires. I definitely wore the tires out more on that run than anybody else. I got into the wall twice. Apparently the right sides of these cars are made out of lead, so I have no damage. And pit, got a little bit extra gas in it, and I'm going to go for the run.
Yeah, we were wondering that. Is that the strategy play, you think? Hopefully you can make it from here on out?
We gained about a gallon on these guys, but I knocked down the wall a little bit, so I just want to make sure I had no real damage, which I didn't. So got it all fixed, and now I'm ready to go.
Excellent. Well, thanks for Tim Richmonding us with it at the restart. Good luck.
See you, buddy.
We take a look now. We're back under green flag conditions. Thank you to Norm Pelletier for talking to us like a champion under green flag conditions at that restart. And he's already gained a spot on that restart. What an absolute wee-mail is that number 56, Norm Pelletier. Gael Brooks, huge lead right now over Anthony Barrow. Now, that's the question, is this a strategy play? Let Gael Brooks go out. Let him drive away from the field. Let him burn his stuff up. And then slowly get that old dizzy rod and reels out. Start reeling them in, cranking them in, reeling them in, cranking them in. The number 27 OZ, Dizzy Beer. DizzyMerch.com, Toyota Camry of Anthony Barrow. Letting Gael Brooks out. Let him get that lead. Nick Cohan looks like he's on that same strategy play. As field already pretty spread out. Driver to watch. Norm Pelletier coming from the back. He's got it on the inside pass there on Don Runkle Jr. Now he's coming up on Chris Leone. Chris drops it down to the inside, trying to drive protective. Remember, Norm said he needs to watch that right front tire. Those right sides heavily burnt in that first run, much more than the other drivers. They're having a little conversation about that during that caution flag. Here in iRacing, we can communicate back and forth with each other throughout the whole race, so we know kind of exactly what your competitor is doing if they're sharing it. And now Norm Pelletier makes that pass. A little bit of contact farther behind him. Chris Leone and Don Runkle Jr., that 00 looks like he was racing at Lanier last week. Not at the twin-ring Motegi Super Speedway, but 00 still trying to drive hard out there. Josh Cox goes around. We just caught it. An incident with Paul Nelson. Let's see if we can go back, take a look at what happened. Josh Cox on the inside of Paul Nelson as they battle off in the... Josh Cox absolutely just cleared out the 16 of Paul Nelson. What in the world was that? Here it is again. Here's a replay. Josh Cox goes off into turn one, and he just didn't turn. John Force himself, Josh Cox, drives it into the left rear of the 16 of Paul Nelson. Paul Nelson is not going to be happy about that one. One thing we might want to do here is see if we can go on board. Let's see if we can go on board with what happened. Here's Paul Nelson. You see, he's just driving along, minding his own business. And bam, you feel that contact from Josh Cox. He goes around. Greg Gable just missed him. But I don't think too much damage for Paul Nelson. They'll be able to get the car back out there and get it back rolling. Josh Cox, huge incident there. Let's see if we can get a word with him and see what happened. Josh, this is Nick in the booth. Do you have a copy?
10-4, I got you.
Josh, we just watched a replay of that incident with you and Paul. What happened?
I wasn't ready to turn in just yet, and I guess Paul was ready to turn in. Scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, we didn't know if the goon brakes failed again or what happened with that thing.
No, it I just has not been ready to make my entry into one yet.
All right, well, we see you coming down the pits. We'll let you talk to your crew and get that number 6 car fixed up.
Yep, just make sure it's good, get a little fuel, and we'll be all on our running.
Excellent. Good luck, Josh.
Thank you, sir.
We see the number 6, Josh Cox in the pits, just topping it off with some fuel. A couple other guys coming in too. Looks like Alex Reno. Thomas George is in the pits from running up front. Topping it off with gas here, hopefully to make it to the end of the race. Paul Nelson, we saw that he had that incident. And Jared Michaud also coming in the pits. Let's see, it looks like Greg Gable, if we take a look, is up to 8th position. Let's see if we can have a chat with Greg, see how he's doing. Looks like he's a free table so far. Greg, this is Nick in the booth. Looks like you're at 8th, so right now everybody's getting a free table. How's the car feel out there?
Tell you what, Nick, probably best car I've had in this league so far, but it's way too early. Everyone's, building their own strategy, and I personally don't have one, but as long as I stay clean, don't run into anybody, stop for one more set of tires, we're looking at free tables for everyone in Japan.
Excellent. Well, we're keeping an eye on you. The car looks good. It looks nice and stable out there. I'm glad that G Squared Racing team was able to get it tuned up for you, and good luck on this impending restart.
Thank you. Thanks.
Field now starting to get lined up again. This time we'll be restarting 2 wide here. So what we do here, pretend racing, if it's a lap, a quick incident like we just had on the previous crash where Don Runkle, they didn't complete the full lap, and we saw Don Runkle drop of the gear there, had a little money shift there and get spun out. The field will line up single file to promote longer green flag runs. Now that we ran about 2 laps, now we're double file again. So this will be interesting to watch with the older tires of the 17 and the newer tires of the guys behind them. What can happen here? We saw Gael Brooks get a huge lead, but I think that was strategic. A little bit of fuel save, a little bit of tire save by all the drivers from second on back. Third caution of the events here is coming to a close. We'll keep an eye on these 2 leaders on this restart. Long drive down in the turns 1 and 2, so going up through those gears, the second, the third, the fourth, extremely important. This guy L. Brooks brings him down. A little bit of tire spin there. We see he gets a good drive though. A little bit better than the 27 car behind the 27 OZ of Anthony Barrow. Slides into second place. Looks like he may implement the same strategy again, just trying to let Gael Brooks get out to the lead, drive away. As now he starts to close it in there. Gael Brooks runs a little high, slips up. Anthony Barrow, if there's an opening, he's going to take it. There he goes. The Dizzy Beer 27 OZ gets back to the lead as we got a 3 wide battle behind him. John Borst, Daniel Walker, Ryan Steinhoff. An absolute battle royal here at Twig Ring Motegi Super Speedway. John Borst is now up to the 4th position. That 86, we saw he was quick in his heat race. Still proving to be quick. Very, very patient, taking his time. Not pushing it too much. Slowly working his way in to where he wants to be. In that 4th position, Dan Walker in the 74. Very strong car as well tonight. As well as that 59 of Ryan Steinhoff. All these drivers very, very quick tonight. Very even overall. So it may come down to a track position game as we take a look at the 21. Nick Cohan has now up to 3rd place. We saw he's the fast time. Gael Brooks slips up again. I think those tires, the 2-tire strategy not totally working out for the 17 right now. As the 17 again opening up the door for these other drivers. A little bit further back in the pack, we take a look at the 8 of Thomas George. We saw him top off. He's up to 10th position. Norm Pelletier right in front of him. We saw Norm pretty quick. I think these drivers just want to kind of play some tire strategy. As now we got Nick Cohan slips by the 17 of Gael Brooks. Parks it in behind his teammate, the number 27 OZ of Anthony Barrow. As we approach a halfway point here at the House of the Rising Sun 100. Tight battle behind him. Ryan Steinhoff trying to make something happen as we see Hanno Longmire drift up the track. Fog, very, very heavy still, not lifting whatsoever. Ooh, we're getting close to a battle for the lead. Now the question is, if you're Nick Cohan, do you hang back? Do you just let Anthony Barrow run out his stuff, burn out his tires? We heard from Norm Pelletier, tire wear is a bit of an issue this evening. That may be a strategy you want to play. We see top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars. 10 cars packed in closely here. And I truly think this is a result. This is a result of our leaders trying to save their tires here. These other guys know they are doing that, but you do not want to burn up your tires and just drive away from this field. Very high potential that we stay green the rest of the way. So fuel, tires, going to be imperative to finishing this race. These longer races in these super late models run sort of like a NASCAR Cup Series race of old, where tire wear very important, fuel strategy very important. And now we see a pass for the lead. Nick Cohan drops it to the inside. Anthony DeBarro is letting him go, and drops down to the inside right behind him. And I think Anthony DeBarro in the 27, very content with doing that. Nick Cohan, he knows is fast. But tires are going to be key. We've seen in other races, Anthony DeBarro burn up his tires, and Nick Cohan was able to get the gap on back. If we think back to Milwaukee a few weeks ago, Anthony DeBarro had about a 3-second lead, and very slowly as the run went on, Nick Cohan was able to reel him in. We see Gael Brooks really slipping up now, those older tires, as Ryan Steinhoff goes onto the inside of Daniel Walker for a pass. Ryan Steinhoff put him in third place in that Brand Agriculture 59 car. 59, very good, very quick car. One driver that does not need to save fuel though. The 56 of Norm Pelletier, he's moving up in the 5th position. Fantasy battle is at play here with the 74 Daniel Walker, the 56 of Norm Pelletier. We have about 10 car breakaway, then a pretty large gap from 11th on back. Now somebody like Ryan Steinhoff not running here weekly with the Pretend Racing Online Super Showdown series. So really no need to back off and play it safe. He's trying to go for the win. As we see Anthony DeBarro pulls it low, he might just back off, let the 59 run around him. So far tonight, Anthony has proved that he has more speed than the 59. As the 59 slaps the wall, Ryan Steinhoff, hard contact with the outside wall, dropping him several positions back to 5th, almost back to 6th as Gael Brooks has the inside, but that's not slowing down Steinhoff. He's going to try to put it on the outside again and lip the rip. A little bit of contact there with the 56 of Norm Pelletier and the 59 of Ryan Steinhoff. Field tightly packed together up here in the top 5 to 8 cars, all under a second. You know, something else I'm wondering as I sit here and watch these guys, how much does the draft come into play? Now, 1.5 mile track, we wouldn't think that the draft is super strong, but it may be playing a role here as we see Daniel Walker getting on the inside of Anthony DeBarro. Daniel Walker wants to lead as Don Runkle Jr. slow in front of the field. Oh, and Norm Pelletier crashes. Anthony DeBarro goes for a slide. Big crash. This is the big one here. Oh my gosh. What happened? Let's back up and watch. Ryan Steinhoff makes it 3 wide and it just closes up into the 56. Cars go spinning everywhere, hard in the wall for a lot of these cars. Oh my goodness gracious. We need to take a second look at that. Let's take a look from our turn 1 cam. We see, I don't think, cars just everywhere. Let's take a second look here. The 27 on the outside. That hole just closed up for Steinhoff. Hard racing. And a big crash. We see some slight damage for the 87. Thomas George has to come to a complete stop. Let's see if we can see this one more time if we back it up. Big crash, hard contact. Let's watch them all come into turn 1 here. The incident would have already taken place by the time they get to us. We see cars just everywhere. 4 or 5 cars involved in that. Oh my goodness gracious. Not what you want to see, as this changes everything. And we may have to get a word here. We'll let the pit strategy play out here. I think some guys may come down pit road, as yes, we see Kyle Brooks, everybody jumping down pit lane here. We need to keep an eye on what takes place, as we see our leader Nick Cohan gets ahead of that just in time. We'll watch our pit exit here. First one off of pit road here is going to be key. We see Kyle Brooks rolling down. Will Nick Cohan get on time? I mean, these guys, 2 tires only. Nick Cohan with a 4-tire strategy. Couple guys taking 4 fresh tires. That can be key here. Anthony DeBar is getting damage fixed. This is going to shuffle up our field like crazy. And I want to take a look at this replay one more time from Thomas George's perspective. Here we are on board. Thomas George, we see up ahead, cars going everywhere, smoke, cars sliding all over. Thomas George hard on the brakes and gets her stopped. Barely touching the 27. Oh my goodness gracious. What an absolute God-tier level drive by Thomas George. Let's see if we can have a word with him. Thomas George, this is Nick in the booth. Do you have a copy?
I got you, man.
Well, Thomas, we just caught the onboard replay of you avoiding that accident. Absolutely God-tier level wreck avoidance. No other way to put it. How did it look from the cockpit?
Well, I saw Jesus offering me a cup of Joe because I thought my life was done right there. And then I saw the Devil Horns of Dodge saying, if you wreck this car, we're dropping you as a sponsorship. So I had to get the brakes on just at the right time, and luckily they're both not in my vision anymore, so we're good.
Yeah, absolutely impressive. I tell you what, that might be the Boar Stove sweet corn move of the race this week.
Oh, awesome. If I don't win this, at least I get some kind of award out of it.
All right, looks like you'll be restarting from 4th spot. Good luck out there.
I appreciate it, Nick.
Well, very interesting here. We're going to have about, looks like about 43 laps to go in this race. As we are starting to re-rack our field here, let's take a little breather, pause after that huge incident. We caught several replays of that. There'll be 42 laps to go on the restart of this race. Guile Brooks is starting on first. Daniel Walker in second. Great run tonight for that Circle Jerks Podcast 74. Josh Cox will be starting from third, and Thomas George, we just spoke to him, will be starting from fourth. A little bit further back, it looks like we have Jeff Coburn and Paul Nelson from 5th and 6th. 7th will be Jared Michaud, Alex Reno. Our 5th row will be Chris Leone and Nick Cohan. And I believe Nick Cohan, first car on 4 fresh tires. First car on 4 fresh tires for the 21. He's going to be run to watch. Ryan Steinhoff just behind him caught some damage here. These are the damage cars. John Boris, Gable, no damage in 13th right now, top 12, free tables. And then the other damage cars, Anthony DeBar and Norm Pelletier. We're getting ready for our restart. Guile Brooks coming to take him to the green, and green flag is out. Big jump for that inside row. Guile Brooks, Josh Cox with a big run. Josh Cox up to second. Good run for Josh Cox as Guile Brooks assumes the lead again. As Josh Cox gets a huge run. Nothing there though through turns 3 and 4. One thing we have not mentioned yet, and something to look out for, some of these drivers are shifting in turns 3 and 4. They are shifting in turns 3 and 4. Let's see if we can go on board here with one of our drivers that we think is shifting. Looks like, but right now we're going to wait to do that as Josh Cox gets a run on the inside of Guile Brooks. Josh Cox in the number 6 decorated this car up special for just this evening with the Japanese leathering. Takes the lead. Josh Cox, I believe this will be the first lap of the season. Josh Cox is on this. Daniel Walker trying to prevent it from happening. Cox gets that lap leader bonus, but here comes Daniel Walker on the high side. The Circle Jerks Podcast Revival Motoring number 74 has come to play this evening as we jump on board now with him. He goes on the inside of Josh Cox, down the backstretch. Does he have the advantage here in the turns 3 and 4? Yes, he does. Daniel Walker assumes the lead as they drive out of turns 3 and 4 over Josh Cox. Thomas George is also making moves back there in 3rd position. Daniel Walker, a driver who is always here with our Pretend Racing Online group. Famous, very famous for our Circle Jerks Podcast Revival Motoring. Brings that to us every week, wherever you get your podcasts. That 74 Chevy Camaro. Absolute immaculate machine. Very clean so far. Beautiful paint scheme on that as Thomas George has now moved to our 2nd position on the inside of Josh Cox. Thomas George won to watch here. About 5/10 off the Daniel Walker. Half a second back. And he is closing up the gap quickly on Daniel Walker. You see Daniel Walker out in the lead. Thomas George trying to close up the gap on him as we have some battles a little bit further back in the pack. Nothing happening up front here. Let's take a look at Nick Cohan. He started deep, currently in 7th spot. Let's see if he is shifting. We talked about shifting a little bit earlier in turns 3 and 4. Letting it coast down into the corner. And he's not. Now Nick Cohan not shifting in turns 3 and 4. Now the question is that just to keep the tires protected? We saw that Don Runkle Jr. with that big incident earlier was definitely shifting, trying to shift at least coming onto the backstretch as we have a battle a little bit further up front. It's like Jeff Coburn is on the inside of Josh Cox. Guile Brooks trying to take advantage and make a 3 wide, thinks better of it as they head into this tight turn 3. One thing I noticed, we did a street stock race here a little bit earlier every week at the same track we see these big races. Pretend Racing Online puts on the junior series, and then the street stock race, turns 3, gets very, very tight. Tightest point on the Speedway is your entry to turn 3. Jeff Coburn now solidly into that 3rd position. Daniel Walker currently running faster lap times than Thomas George. But as we've heard from several drivers, tire wear is an issue. And we definitely want to protect those tires. As we approach 30 laps to go. Laps to go here with Pretend Racing Online at Twin Ring Motegi Road Super Speedway, not the road course. Daniel Walker has our lead. Very big moment for Daniel Walker if he could get this done. I do not believe he has a Pretend Racing Online Super Showdown Series win to his credit. But Thomas George, 0.3 of a second back, is nipping on his doors. A little bit farther back. We have a pass here. Anthony the Barrow, we saw involved in that last incident, picked up some damage, but I don't think the car was too bad as he has rolled past his teammate of Nick Cohan. Nick Cohan could be saving those tires. And we see that damage on the left-hand side of the 27. That was from that slight little tap that Thomas George gave the 27 car. Daniel Walker opening up his gap on the field. He's got about 1/10 of a second on that last lap over Thomas George. Needs to run it nice and steady here with 31 laps to go. Daniel Walker in the 74. This would be a monumentous day for Daniel Walker. Probably the greatest day of his life if he could pull off this win with Pretend Racing Online. That time by dead even between him and Thomas George looking at their lap times. Jeff Coburn was actually the fastest car. Sorry, not Jeff Coburn. Anthony the Barrow was the fastest car on the track that last time by, but Anthony the Barrow 2 seconds back of this battle for the lead as we watch Daniel Walker drive off to the turn 3. Let's check our lap times this time by. We see it up on the boards there, folks. Thomas George slightly quicker. Could this be Thomas George's tires starting to come in now? Or Daniel Walker's going away? Let's see if we could jump on board to Thomas George. We'll try to jump on board with him. Take a look, see what it looks like from his point of view. Now you hear it there, Thomas George is shifting. Thomas George in the number 8 Milwaukee Power Tools machine from Richmond, Virginia. In here in the turns 1 and 2, very big, very roundly corners, not shifting here. Thomas George a little bit quicker that last time by again than Daniel Walker. There we go, we hear him downshift there. And he gets back on the gas, making up a lot of time going into turn 3. That's where Daniel Walker's weak point is. The entry to turn 3, you saw it there. Really closed up the gap, about 1/10 of a second quicker Thomas George sees blood in the water. He's got those shark fins out. A little bit further back, though, we need to take a look at this driver. Anthony DeBarro in the 27 is rolling through the field. He's all the way up to 3rd position. He restarted deep in the pack up to 3rd already. About a second and a half off the lead, however, which we need to take a look at. Thomas George thinking about trying to make a pass there, thinks better of it. Boy, 74 of 100 laps complete. 26 laps to go for these drivers. Daniel Walker, the young man from Manchester, New Hampshire, trying to hold off Richmond, Virginia's own Thomas George. Now Thomas has an inside line here. Will Walker close the door? He gives them plenty of room as they enter into turns 1 and 2. Thomas George slips on by the 74 at Daniel Walker. Let's see if Walker has anything for him as they come back down the backstretch through the thick fog here in Twin Ring Motegi Super Speedway. Daniel Walker goes to the inside. Can he drive it in there? Does he make contact? Almost makes contact with the number 8. Thomas George jacks out of it at just the last second. That may have spooked Thomas George a little bit, but he gets a good drive off the corner, and he drives off from Daniel Walker. Walker now, he needs to settle himself in here. Try to regather his thoughts. As Thomas George gets by. One car to watch out for, though, the 27 Dizzy Beer Machine. The 27 OZ. Anthony DeBarro, quickest car on track last time by. Let's check a look at our lap times. This time, as we roll past the start-finish line. Again, Anthony DeBarro, fastest car on the track. Last time by with 24 laps to go. We need to keep an eye on those times, though. About 1 second off the lead, the 27 OZ. Let's take a look at our lap times once again as the field crosses the line. We'll get a second for our lap times to reset. Anthony DeBarro, he's got the dizzy rod and reels out. 36.90, about a tenth and a half faster than Thomas George. The sun is starting to break through here at Twin Ring Motegi. As we watch this 27, let's see a little bit further up front. Daniel Walker trying to close in. He sees that 27 quickly coming in his mirrors. Again, the 27 of Anthony DeBarro, a little bit quicker. Let's jump on board with him right now. The 27, Anthony DeBarro. You can hear Anthony downshifting there. That's really helping his drive in turns 3 and 4. You can see the gap that he's closed up on these drivers in front of him. Again, everybody now picking up their lap times. It is full send and ready to go, but Anthony DeBarro about a tenth of a second quicker again than both Thomas George and Daniel Walker. Daniel Walker at this point in time slightly quicker than Thomas George. The wick has been turned up here at Twin Ring Motegi Super Speedway. Turn 3 is where Anthony DeBarro makes up all of his time. Thomas George slaps the wall that opens the door for Daniel Walker. Daniel Walker passes him. Anthony DeBarro, easy pass on the number 8. That's what he wanted to see. Now here Daniel Walker is in the 74, back out in the lead, but the 27, huge run for the 27 car. Down the backstretch, let's see what they look like going off into turn 3. This is Anthony DeBarro's sweet spot. Coasted in behind the 74, gonna take his time here. Here he goes, comes down the front stretch, gets it, tries the side draft at 74. Daniel Walker cannot hold him off. The 27, Anthony DeBarro, drives it in hard. Makes us past Thomas George, trying to take advantage of that as well on the inside of the 74. "19 laps to go now as Thomas George gets back by Daniel Walker." Thomas George lost the lead, slapped the wall there. We saw that take place on our onboard that we were watching. Very exciting action here in the late stages of the Pretend Racing Online Rising Sun 100 at Twin Ring Motegi Super Speedway. Anthony DeBarro, fastest car on the track that time by. And he is starting to open up the gap slightly on Thomas George and Daniel Walker. But this might be a play that Anthony DeBarro wants to do. Do you now save your stuff? You drove really hard to get up to the lead, heated up those tires. Does he play it safe and just try to pace himself? Pace himself just enough so that he can stay in front of these drivers and they don't have a shot at him. And late in the race, 5-10 laps to go, he could turn up the wick again and start to drive away. That's going to be something interesting to watch here. A driver that we know took 4 tires late stages, Nick Cohan in the 21. He's currently in 5th position, about 3 seconds off this battle. We'll check his lap times this time by, see if he has anything for these guys. I'm looking at his lap times here. He was equal with Anthony DeBarro that lap, which was about a 10th faster than Thomas George and Daniel Walker. But that is not going to allow Nick Cohan. 1/10 of a second is not going to allow Nick Cohan to catch up to these guys. There is not enough of time left. Let's take a look at him. He's out here running all by himself right now. About 3 seconds off the lead, about a second behind Gael Brooks. A little bit further back, we got John Borst running in there, a solid 6th position. And then number 86, Jeff Coburn in the number 91 is in 7th. Josh Cox is currently in 8th spot. Ryan Steinhoff, we saw that damage he incurred earlier in that incident, running back here in 9th and 10th with Norm Pelletier. A little bit further back, Paul Nelson in the 11th position. Alex Reno with a strong run tonight in 12th. And Greg Gable just 1 spot out of that big top 12 Gable's Tables promise. As we have a battle side by side with Norm Pelletier and Ryan Steinhoff coming off of turn 4. They're side by side. That might reel in Paul Nelson back into this battle. Neither one of these drivers at this stage wants to lift. We want to jump back up front though, as we have this heck of a battle here. This is for 9th and 10th spot. Nothing is happening right now towards the front of the field. Thomas George about 2/10 back of Anthony DeBarro at the front of the pack. But this is where the action is right now, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Steinhoff, Norm Pelletier. Running extremely hard with one another. This is what we'd like to see here with Pretend Racing Online. Let's take a look back up front. We see Thomas George here. We're on board with him. We hear Thomas George now downshifting like Anthony DeBarro has been. Coming to 12 laps to go. 2/10 of a second separates them. Extremely even. time-wise between Anthony DeBarro and Thomas George. Does he have anything for the 27 of Anthony DeBarro in the late stages of this race? It does not appear that lap traffic will be of any issue in this race with the time that we have left. Caution! Oh my goodness gracious. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a caution on the Speedway. Let's take a look at what happened. Norm Pelletier, Ryan Steinhoff, Josh Cox, tight battle. Oh! Very unfortunate. Let's rewind that one more time. We see battling off the corner. Josh Cox just not quite enough room, and that pushes Steinhoff in the wall, and it almost flips him upside down and end over end. We could take a look from the onboard cam. We can see just runs out of the racing room as they all slide up the track to get a good exit. They hook up. Steinhoff tries to keep off him into the wall hard. Just nowhere to go for Ryan Steinhoff, and this is going to come down to some side-by-side. The kind of racing your mama warned you about. Wow. We got some drivers coming to pit road. Perhaps some late strategy calls here. Late in the race to take some tires. But let's see what these drivers have. We'll keep an eye on the pit lane exit. It looks like top 6 cars have stayed out on the track. We're looking at Gael Brooks here. We see him getting 2 tires at least. Yep, 2 tires for Brooks. Let's see what we have here for the 86 of all these guys getting 2 tires. Gael Brooks, Jeff Coburn, Josh Cox. That looks like Steinhoff is pitted for 2 tires. Chris Leone, Alex Reno, 4-tire call for the 86 of John Bors. Just beats Alex Reno out of the pit lane. Up front, it looks like this. Anthony DeBarro is in first. Thomas George running in second. Daniel Walker in third. And Nick Cohan in fourth spot. That last run, we saw Nick Cohan about 3 seconds off the lead, saving his stuff. Going to be interesting to watch here and what he can pull off. Norm Pelletier stayed out 5th. And Greg Gable currently in 6th position. Gael Brooks, this is our drivers with 2 tires now. Gael Brooks, Jeff Coburn, Josh Cox. John Bors has 4 tires. Alex Reno, Chris Leone, and Ryan Steinhoff. We know Ryan Steinhoff, though, heavy damage in that last racing incident. So, folks, it's going to come down to this. Currently, we have 9 laps remaining. It looks like when we restart, we will restart with 7 laps to go. Or, sorry, we're getting doubled up currently. I believe that our pace car, yes, lights are off on the pace car. Lights are off on the pace car as our field rolling down this very wide backstretch. We're starting to get doubled up here. And this is going to be 8-lap shootout. Anthony DeBarro, Thomas George, Daniel Walker, Nick Cohan, Norm Pelletier, Greg Gable, Gael Brooks, Jeff Coburn, Alex Reno, and Josh Cox is your top 10. Anybody's ball game. We know Nick Cohan was back there saving his 4 tires. Anthony DeBarro, Thomas George racing it out. Daniel Walker, it seemed like his stuff burned up and was starting to go away. But we'll see here. 8 laps to go. Here on Hot Shoe TV, big jump for Anthony DeBarro. We see this battle now. Nick Cohan tries to swing it wide behind Thomas George. Daniel Walker down on the inside. Norm Pelletier also on the inside. That's going to open the door. Thomas George is able to slip away a little bit. No, Daniel Walker gets a big run back on him. Nick Cohan tucks in, bumps Daniel Walker as they head off into turn 3. Drives it in hard. The number 8 of Thomas George slips up the track a little bit as Daniel Walker on the inside. Can he get past that number 8 car? What a great run for Daniel Walker. 7 laps to go now. 7 laps to go. Our battle for second is hot and heavy as Thomas George is on the outside. Daniel Walker on the inside. Daniel Walker almost has him clear down the backstretch, but I think he wants to hold the inside. No, Thomas George is going to want the inside, and he lets Daniel Walker drive it in there. Oh boy, take a look on the outside of Thomas George. The 17 of Kyle Brooks. Contact with the wall. North Pelletier up and over. And he keeps it rolling. Unbelievable drive by Nor Pelletier. We cannot catch a replay right now. We need to see what is happening up front. Unbelievable. Let's try to look quickly. Unfortunately, not on that camera do we have that action. But here we go, about a second back from Anthony DeBarro. 5 to go. Daniel Walker in second. Thomas George in third. Gael Brooks and Nick Cohan in right behind them. Anthony DeBarro, fastest car on the track. Everybody else here, second, third, fourth, and fifth, extremely even. Daniel Walker with one heck of a run this evening in second position. The Circle Jerks podcast number 74. Thomas George trying to make a move on him. Good on the inside. Daniel Walker trying to hold him off. He gets a big run on the top there. We see that exit, but he slips up coming out of the corner. That opens a door for the number 8 car of Thomas George, who rolls on by now up into second, but about over a second off Anthony DeBarro. Oh, and Daniel Walker drives in so hard, gets in the back of the 8 of Thomas George, who's able to gather it back up as we got a battle right behind those guys. Gael Brooks and Nick Cohan battling it out hard for 4th position with 3 laps to go. Daniel Walker currently in our 3rd position. Thomas George just ahead of him in 2nd. I know Daniel wants to get this podium. Would love to speak to us up here in Hot Shoe TV. We know that 17 of Gael Brooks is on fresh tires. Walker now starting to become defensive. We see him pull down to block that inside line. Gael Brooks drives it in now into turns 1 and 2. Gael Brooks moves now into our podium position, but Daniel Walker battling it back on the outside. Nick Cohan back there in 5th position. Daniel Walker trying everything that he can do. As we get our white flag, 1 lap to go. Nick Cohan now trying to attack for a podium position on the last lap. Can he get on the inside of Gael Brooks as they headed out of turn 2 and down the backstretch one final time? A little bit further up front, Anthony DeBarro is our leader. The number 27 OZ, Dizzy Beer, brew with Goon Tears Waters, comes out of turn 4. Anthony DeBarro is going to take the victory, followed by Thomas George, and across the line, it was Nick Cohan. We need to go back and take a look at what happened. Side by side here, we see Gael Brooks up ahead. Gael pulls down to the inside. I am not sure. Let's back this up one more time here. Did Gael Brooks run out of fuel? Something happened. He pulled down off the track. Side-by-side battle across the line. Nick Cohan in third position. What an absolute battle royal. Oh my goodness gracious. Ladies and gentlemen, you saw one heck of a race this evening. Let's see if we could get a word with our top 3 finishers. The first being Nick Cohan coming across the line in the third position. Nick Cohan, this is Nick in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Nick.
Well, Nick, long race there. It looked like you were saving your stuff for a little while. Tell us about that crazy finish at the end. What was going on out there?
Oh man, I don't know. It was pretty exciting, huh? Dan probably burned his tires up battling there with Thomas, and Gael was coming through on fresh tires. It just made for a crazy ending. I'm sure you were going nuts there in the booth.
Yeah, we were watching Daniel Walker, very strong car tonight. A spectacular finish. Tell us a little bit about your race, though. Looked like, were you saving stuff in the midpoint of the race there? Look like you're hanging about 2-3 seconds back from the leaders.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Taking the 4 tires was kind of an accident. I wasn't really paying attention to how many laps we had left. I thought there was only 30 some laps to go, and I ended up taking 4 tires. I'm like, oh well, looks like we can make it on fuel the rest of the way, so I'll just take care of them. And I needed it to go green the rest of the way, and for some reason, once I started to go, it didn't go anywhere, and Anthony spun earlier and didn't take any tires, so I don't understand how. I think he found a glitch, because he was running quicker lap times than I was in not in the draft, and I was in the draft, and it just wouldn't go anywhere. I mean, I was gonna probably get into the top 3 eventually, but it just wasn't working out the way I thought it was. Those 2 tires also seemed to make this thing turn in the center a little bit more. The guys in front of me that I saw, they were able to turn just center off a little bit better than I was on the 4 tires there, and it sucks. I mean, I think we finished 3rd. We'll take it. That's good. It sucks when you have a good car like that. You really think you had a good shot at winning, and we did, and stayed out of trouble there. And I always try to play the race smart and just take my time, and that's what I did tonight. Kept the car clean, and you'll never have a shot if you're not there at the end. So we were there at the end, and just couldn't get it done. But congrats to Anthony. Hopefully it was a good race for you up in the booth. Hopefully you were able to see with all the fog.
Yeah, a little difficult to see off the backstretch there, but we were able to manage. Had to squint a couple times, but we saw what was happening. And, some days you run like your sponsors there. You got Nick Sucks on the side of the car, and you were unable to get the car rolling there at the midpoint of the race. So,
yeah, it sucks, but, we'll see what we can do better for next time. We're at Brands Hatch next week. I'm not sure I'll be there because I don't own the track, and I'm not a road racer, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll be back up in the booth with you. But first, I just want to thank Nick Sucks for being on the car tonight. Big sponsor. Kayachi Zizachi for the throwback paint scheme this week. And CJ Automotive, Circle Jerks podcast. Make sure you go listen to all the new episode from Coda this week on all your favorite podcast platforms. And also Hot Shoe TV for putting on an awesome broadcast.
Yeah, thanks for talking to us, Nick, and congratulations on your 3rd place finish.
Yep, thanks, Nick.
Thomas George, this is Nick in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got one.
Well, Thomas, yeah, it looked like you had a fast car tonight, just not quite enough for the 27. Tell us about your run this evening.
Oh, I had enough. I was setting up my last 5 laps or so to make the pass on him, and what else is new? some wrecking for last brings out a caution to kind of screw the whole thing. So, what do you know? Another second place finish. Kind of getting tired of finishing there. Want to turn those into wins. So, not exactly thrilled about this one, knowing that I felt I had the better car and was just waiting for the right moment. But that's what happens, I guess.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're all out there on the same racetrack, and sometimes those incidents happen. Boy, I tell you what, you're still holding a strong points lead here. We're headed to Brands Hatch next weekend, next Wednesday, I should say. How do you feel about it?
I don't know. I'm still. I haven't even thought about it. It's just another road course. Probably won't win that one. So I'm just. Second sucks, especially when you know you've got a better car at the end there, and people can't keep their composure at the end, and just kind of, not to be a downer, but second sucks.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us tonight, Thomas. Who would you like to thank before we send you off?
All the admins and you for broadcasting, and hopefully Dodge doesn't fire me for finishing second again. So we'll see if I have a new manufacturer next week or not.
Well, there's a lot of them out there. I think maybe Hyundai will pick you up after a big win over here on the Asian side of things.
Yeah, I'm not going with them. I'll convince Dodge to let me stay on. I got to do something.
All right, Thomas, thanks for talking to us, and congratulations on your second place.
Thank you.
And finally, we need to talk to our winner this evening. The number 27 OZ, Dizzy Beer, DeBarrow Sliders, Dizzy Airways, Dizzy Racing Engines, Toyota Camry, Anthony DeBarrow, the Goon Hunter himself, with the big win. Anthony, tell us about it tonight.
Awesome race. Spin and win, and I even finished the race on that set of tires that I spun on. I had one in the pits, and I don't know what happened during that spin, the damage I got. It seemed like it made the car a little faster, and I was able to just drive right through the field. And I don't know, the guys just brought an awesome car, and I can't thank them enough for coming all the way over here and this hard work to Japan. And it was a tough race, a lot of fast cars. Dan led a lot of laps. Thomas is up there. Nick was up there. It was just seemed like whoever got out front was able to kind of just hold the lead for a little bit.
Yeah, a very exciting race for us up here in the booth to watch. A lot of tight battles for the lead and throughout the pack. And tell us what you were thinking there on that incident. Man, we thought you were an absolute goner there, and somehow the Thomas was able to get stopped just in time. But what was it like from the cockpit during that whole ordeal?
Well, I was just sitting duck there, I think we got all checked up off 4 with Don there, and then we got 3 wide, and the gap just closed, and then all of a sudden I got hooked, and I thought I was in Tokyo drifting around the streets, for a second. I was trying to save it, and I think John got into me, and I didn't have that much damage. It felt like the car was destroyed, and I was like, oh, there goes my race, and I came down and topped her off, fixed the damage, and that thing was a rocket ship, so I don't know what to say. The crew, we might have to check with post-race tech there. I don't know what the crew did when they were fixing her up.
Yeah, it was exciting to watch you drive from the back. Before we let you go, who would you like to thank this evening?
Yeah, the guys at the Dizzy Beer guys, they're brewed with the finest Goon Tears waters, Go try it. It's a new beer, and, everyone should go down to their local beer distributor, grab comes in 6 packs, 12 packs, You could get a 40 ounce. I like the 40 ounce because it has the most velocity of the Goon Tears. And that they always taste so good when they're crisp. When you get a beer at 31 degrees, it's perfect. So everyone check that out. Thanks to Hot Shoe TV up in the booth. Fantastic broadcast. I really enjoy reviewing it every week.
All right, Anthony, thanks for talking to us. Congratulations on your win, and hopefully we see you back up here next week.
Thanks, buddy.
And that is going to bring us to check out our final results here on Hot Shoe TV, Pretend Racing Online Super Showdown Series, the House of the Rising Sun 100 from Twin Ring Motegi Speedway. Anthony DeBarrow was our big winner with Dizzy Motorsports. Thomas George finished second, and Nick Cohan top 3. Daniel Walker leading a bunch of laps tonight. A breakout race for Daniel Walker in 4th, Jeff Coburn in 5th. John Borst quietly in 6th, Kyle Brooks, Josh Cox, Greg Gable with a top 10 tonight. 9th place for Greg Gable. Free tables at gablestables.com. And Chris Leone with a 10th. Paul Nelson, Alex Reen, Norm Pelletier, Jeremy Shaw, Ryan Stein of Honda Longmire, Don Runkle Jr., and Casey Miller rounding out our fields. What an absolutely exciting race it was this evening from Twin Ring Motegi Super Speedway. It was a wonderful night of racing action on Hot Shoe TV. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And until we meet again in Brands Hatch 1 week from tonight, have a great evening.
Racing down the short street now. Bitcoin, no, wrong! Coburn! The bulldozer! Bump crash on the outside. 2 drivers going for the real estate. 97 almost up on his wheel. And bump crash on fourth and 5th position as they call him deep crash. Unbelievable!